to go? All right, we'd like to welcome Jason Day to the interview room here at the 2025 Farmers Insurance Open. Jason, thanks for joining us, coming in off a really good performance last week at the Amex. And what's that like when you've coming into a tournament where you've had a lot of success in the past and coming in off a good week like that?
Yeah, it's obviously nice to see all the work. I took 4 months off, pretty much 3.5 months off last year. At the end of the year, and worked very, very hard on my swing. That was one thing that was holding me back last year, even though I had some pretty good stats around the short game area. Could have improved dramatically with the irons. So it was nice to be able to see that pay off, even though I didn't get the results that I wanted to at Century. It was nice to be able to get the results at Palm Springs and try and take that forward here, even though this is a very difficult golf course, both sides actually, since the changes on the north. But I am looking forward to the week. It's always fun to come back to a place that I've been coming to since I was pretty much 16 years old. So it's nice. It's a fun place to play. It is very difficult. Obviously, US Open style golf course on the south, and then the course conditions are fantastic right now. So I'm looking forward to hopefully a successful week.
All right, we'll jump straight into questions and start with Todd.
Jace, yes. Your wins here are 10 under and 9 under.
Yeah.
And that's a single round essentially out in the desert.
Yeah, it really is.
The mental changes, the approaches that you have to make from 1 week to the next.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy that kind of relish? And obviously you played well here, but
yeah.
I was looking at the record. The desert has just been on your schedule more recently.
Yeah.
How is that transition between those two experiences?
I never really liked coming into this week not knowing where my game's at, especially coming off, if I wasn't playing the Century tournament and this was my first tournament back and you're a little rusty, it's a very difficult week. It can be a very short week if you're rusty. So it was nice to be able to get out to the desert where you feel like you're playing in a dome, which you pretty much are at 75 degrees and sunny. And like you said, I mean, the scoring conditions are very favourable out there. You have to look at where they're putting pin locations. We're playing with amateurs as well, so the pin locations aren't as tough, and they're like little pockets, so you can actually hit it into a section and it kind of funnels all in together, and you have an opportunity to, even if you hit a poor one, you still got an opportunity to make birdie. Here, you can't do that. You can't fake it out here. It's a very difficult golf course. They do have sections, but, you've got 14, for instance. If the pin's up the top left, it's very difficult to get up on top of that, even more so to the top right location as well from the fairway. So you have to change your mentality from going, like trying to shoot a low score, to I've got to pick and choose how much I want to bite off here. Do I want to be a little bit more aggressive on this par 5, try and make a birdie? If anything, even the scoring opportunities that you have out here, you just got to make sure you don't shoot yourself in the foot, because you can definitely do that pretty quickly, especially with how thick the rough is. So it's more about changing mentality from being aggressive to I need to be a little bit more conservative, and we know that these courses aren't going to yield a lot of birdies. North course, that's a different story. There are a little bit more opportunities out there, but since the changes, it's gotten tougher. So, just a patient week. Like you said, 9 and 10 under my wins, and I think somewhere around that is usually what usually wins this week. So if you can go, can I shoot 2 under a day, every day, and try and stay on that pace, usually you'll get yourself into contention on Sunday, and then, who knows what happens. So that would be the ultimate goal, is try and shoot a couple under a day and then go from there.
I wanted to ask you're incredibly loyal to this tournament.
Yes.
For good reason. You've played well here.
Yep.
This is 13 straight for you, I think.
Yep.
I was looking at. But times have changed.
Yeah.
Schedules are different. There's a lot more demands as far as the signature events and how you guys figure things. We have a Wednesday start now. Do you feel a little bit, I don't know if bad's the word, but that the Farmers Open doesn't quite have the same cachet maybe it did?
Yeah, I understand your question. Back when Tiger was playing and winning eight of these, and it was the event to come to because of the not only how big the tournament was and what Tiger brought to the event as well. The crowds were huge. But with that being said, I still think that's a hard question for me because I don't know how to give you the correct answer because like you said, I'm very loyal to this area. I'm very loyal to this golf tournament. I love this area. I love the people here. I also love the golf tournament. I love the golf course. So it's something that has been I've had a lot of good memories here. So that's why I'm very loyal to this place. I don't want it to get to a point where we've just kind of forgotten about it because it's such to me personally, I think of the wins that Tiger's won, like even myself and what that felt like. And I remember, when I won the playoff against JB Holmes on the 16th hole and we were driving back and there were just lines of people down 18 yelling out, and I feel like the crowds have gotten a little bit less since then, and it's unfortunate, but I'm hoping that we can change that. I don't know how to change that and give you an answer other than I feel like I'll always be back here. I've missed some years, but I definitely will always support this tournament.
Do you think the Wednesday start is problematic for guys now?
What is the reasoning behind finishing on Saturday?
The NFL Conference Championship games are on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it is because obviously you got more people coming on the weekends. If they finish on a Saturday, and I know that it's TV, we have to start out here early so that we have a finish on the East Coast in prime time. And then obviously you're competing against NFL on Sunday. That's obviously difficult. So maybe that has something to do with crowds as well. And then on top of maybe the players don't want to have a quick turnaround from Palm Springs, and you have Pebble next week, and then Waste, and then the Genesis. They're three pretty big tournaments in a row, and do you want to play four big tournaments in a row? I think you got to understand that you have to tough golf courses. Mentally, I think you can only play amount of because Pebble's obviously a signature event. Most guys aren't going to miss that. Waste Management is a total beast in itself because it's a mentally grueling week as well. And then obviously you got another signature event after that in LA. So do you want to put yourself through a very, very mentally grueling week this week and then play another three events? And I think most guys' threshold are around 2 to 3 weeks in a row. So maybe they could spread it out a little bit that way, or change the way that the tournaments run out in the West Coast. Maybe that might help it a little bit. But I think the Wednesday start, obviously finishing on Saturday, and then obviously competing against the NFL is very difficult.
Jason, is there a danger, following up on Todd, is there a danger a little bit with tournaments like this that aren't signature events,
right,
that they're kind of looked at as sort of, and I don't mean this in a demeaning way, but a little bit of a second level type event where the fields are less? I mean, I think there's 2 of the top 12, there's 6 of the top 25 this week. As Todd mentioned, in the old days, almost everyone
came. I remember that.
Was here, and I talked to a guy this morning who said he's eligible for the signature events for the first time, and he was surprised at what that did to his schedule. That there are a lot of tournaments that I used to play this, but now I can't. Is there a solution, an answer?
Well, there are 2 tours within a tour now. If you could understand that, I think you have the top guys playing the signature events, and you have the other side of it too. And I think that just happened purely because of the way that, when LIV came about, and it's unfortunate, but ultimately that's what we're dealing with now. I don't know if I speak for the tour, as well as some of the other guys, because I sometimes the tour sends me emails, I don't even read them. So I know that there's guys out there that are a lot more qualified than me to answer for that reason. But it is tough. The two tours is difficult. I mean, ultimately, I think at the end of the day, you'd probably, if you wanted everyone to play in a tournament, you have to shrink the schedule down dramatically. You can't have 40 plus events, or I'm not sure where it is. It used to be 48 events on the schedule, and you knew that you weren't going to have the best players in the world. But the only way that you're going to get the best players in the world is shrink the schedule down dramatically. And I think essentially that's kind of what they're doing now within the tour, is that you have the signature events and you have the major championships, and then you throw in your memorials, your Bay Hills, your Tiger events, all that stuff, and those bigger events within that offer 3-year exemptions instead of the typical 2-year exemptions, and then you might sprinkle in some golf tournaments that you actually like and play well in, and then the rest are for the guys that are not quite in those signature events yet. So, like I said before, I'd love to give you the correct answer, but I just don't know. I don't know where they're even taking it. So I just typically just keep my head down, I keep my mouth shut, and I try and play good golf, because I got a hard enough time trying to keep the bloody ball down the middle of the fairway here. So, yeah.
I don't know that there's a right or wrong answer.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I'm trying to tread lightly because I don't want to step on anyone's toes, and I understand.
One more.
Yeah.
If the Genesis comes here,
yeah,
what do you think of that decision?
I love it because I've had good memories here, so I like it. I think it's. If it comes here, I can understand why they've come here. Obviously, Tiger's had a huge amount of success here. It's not that far from LA. It's just down the road. The infrastructure's here already. It just depends on if the city wants to hold it, and what that would look like. And then, that is obviously one way of getting, the players to come back to San Diego, is have a signature event in your backyard, which would be nice. But, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that we're to this point where we have to come to San Diego, which is like sad, because we're even though we're talking about another tournament coming to San Diego, which is a great thing for San Diego, there's a lot of people that are, out of a home, that, typically we come in and everything's normal. Right now there's a lot of people that are struggling. So, and we can't forget about that too. So,
would there be an advantage in playing this course twice in short span?
Yes.
Like that?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is, because we get a bit of a taste test to what is going to be potentially, and we know that the conditions will be, because we're not going to choose between north and south. There's limited field. We're 100%. If it's here, we're going to play south, and it's all 4 days, and it's grueling. And coming off, week at Waste Management, even though it's perfect conditions out there, different grass. You got overseeded rye at the Waste Management. You're dealing with crowds, and then obviously you're coming over here dealing with different grass. It's a different, it's a heavier air. The density altitude is completely different to Scottsdale. So it's just a different type of game out here.
Just to clarify, an official decision hasn't been made on that particular event and where it's going to be relocated.
But I would like it here.
Of course you would. Of course you would. MK?
Jason, we've talked about your rich history on this property. When you come back, what do you enjoy most about it?
About this property? I think I enjoy just how tough the test is.
And then you're from Ohio, and
Yes.
Ohio State had
Yes,
quite the game
massive.
last night.
Yeah.
in 2023, you went to the practice, so
Yeah.
you know Coach Day.
Yeah.
How has their performance this season
Yeah.
inspired you as just a golfer? And then on top of that, have you messaged Coach Day at all?
No, I have not messaged, but I must admit, I will say to all the people that was calling for his head, I'm like, come on. Like, I mean, it was I know that we've lost against Michigan, I think, last 4 seasons, and that's big for Ohio people, is we can't lose against Michigan. But I'd take a championship over losing to Michigan every single year if we won the championship every single year. But it was nice to be able to see his success. Obviously, since that Michigan game, he's played the whole team. He's rallied the boys, and they've played tremendous. I mean, it was fun to watch. I mean, that was a lot closer than we wanted. It looked like a blowout, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. But you know, it's amazing to see, you know, how many times you can get gut punched and then get up and rally the troops again and keep going. And that's inspiring to see, because, I mean, if you've ever been to Columbus, Ohio State football is the thing there. It is a religion. A lot of people support it, and I support it. And I've loved, you know, going to games, and I've loved, you know, being a massive supporter of Ohio State for a very long time. So I was very, very happy last night, and even into this morning, because I was talking about it pretty much my whole 9 holes. So
One more from Todd.
Light one for you. Your personal favorite club of all time,
yeah,
and why?
my putter by far, because that's the thing that I'm known for, even though I haven't putted good the last 2 tournaments in a row. But my putter for sure. It's not the sexiest thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like hitting a drive like a Rory McIlroy or anything like that, but you hit a clutch putt down the stretch when you need to, nothing better than that, because you need it. And when all else fails and you have the putter going, it's the thing that's going to keep you in the game. So that's the reason why I love putting the most.
A specific one, Jason? A specific model?
The Spider. I have always kind of. I've changed a few times over the years, but my Ghost Spider putter, I've always used that since 2011. The models have slightly changed over time, but typically I go back to the one. It's a red putter. I kind of had the most success with it. The putter I won the PGA Championship with, it was a black one. I gave that to Dash during a PGA Junior. No, he gave it back, but it was all dinged up. He never put a cover on it, and it was completely destroyed. So that thing is toast. It's sitting at home doing nothing now. And the red Spider putter is my go-to.
You saying Dash makes me think of watching you guys out on the green there.
Yeah.
When you won, and Dash was this tall. And I saw him at the President's Cup this year.
Well, he's nearly as tall as me.
Huh?
He's nearly as tall as me. He's
Yeah.
5'11". He's 12 years old. So
But is that part of the memories of out here?
Yes.
Of Dash running around on the green? And
Yeah, for sure. And it's like even the memories of me sitting, I think it was like 2018, and I was sitting down after my round, and they had the camera on me, and I still remember it. Dash was there, and I had little Lucy on my lap. You know what I mean? So my kids have grown up through this tournament as well. So that's why I have a lot of loyalty to this tournament, because of the good memories, and for that reason. So, thanks.
One last one from me, Jason, from the Australian media. When you won in 2015, you had a phenomenal year with 5 wins, #1 in the world. Just how special was that run, and do you feel like you're back in the kind of form that you can get into that position again?
Yeah, I think if I can match, I was talking about my iron play. I've actually struck it really nice over the last 2 weeks, and I've putted poorly. So if I can match those 2 things, but that's just golf, you know. When you feel like you've got one thing, the other thing goes missing. So, I definitely think that not only is my body moving in the correct way, correct direction, my swing's moving in the correct direction, and also my mind. So, I feel like I'm preparing myself for another run.
Great. All right. We appreciate your time.
That was easy.
Good luck this week.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Might be the shortest start you've ever